Hello people, Jones9 back again with another video to help you out on your Torchlight journey. So for all the beginners, again, this is for you. Whether you may know or may not know, I'm going to help you and show you things that are essential for your experience in this game. So this video may be a bit of a long one, but we're going to get through it. So 3 topics I really want to talk about in this video are the energy system, the mapping systems, and using resonance properly, and elite mechanics that are both old and present so that you know what you may like and what you may want to pull for with the pack system. Pack system, again, is referenced in one of my older videos, both paired, both for drop pets and for battle pets. Make sure that you know which ones you're pulling for and you refer back to that video for any info on that. But first things first, you're done with the campaign. Now, what do? Well, the game's just beginning for you. Gonna be a couple quests that pop up from this guy here, the Hunter. He has a trade, Great Void, and Cradle Renewal. These two don't worry about. It's mostly about the trade system here. And then from our energy guy here for pretty much all your crafting needs. This one here is the one we're talking about with energy, and it works like this. So throughout your journey, you're going to get these little energy shards here. I'll show what it looks like right here in the inventory sense. The energy core. An item required to refine the gear energy value. So after the campaign, energy will start to drop on gear. This energy is needed to make your character stronger and add in several links to your skills. On the top right hand side here, you'll see the different energy values that's needed for each link and how much energy total you have and what's needed in total. So the maximum energy I believe is 525. You don't typically need that much or anything like that, but it's just a thing. Actually, I think it's like 1,000, technically like 1,000, something like that. But anyways, you want to make sure that your energy needs are met. You can add energy on using the plus button or take it away using the minus button, and then you get back the corresponding energy all the way back down to 0. So when gear starts to drop with energy, you'll notice the bar right here. It tells you the total energy you can have and then how much you have depending on the values that you roll. So the only things that cannot roll with energy, your amulet, your belt, and your rings. Everything else can have energy. So you want to make sure that when you're getting gear, especially starting out and you begin mapping, the only thing that matters is that it has energy on it. The more energy, the better. So that way you can add in other links to your skills to make your character stronger. And essentially, you'll get to a point where you want to find specific gear that has energy and everything that you need for your build, depending on if you're following your pro build guide or you're doing it yourself to progress through the game. Now, the energy's done. I would roll and show you guys, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do it because my energy values are already there. But let's see, maybe we have an old piece that we can use so we don't care for. Let's just do these boots. So you go to gear empowerment. I toss these boots in and it tells me I have a 1 to 61 range. And right now it's already at 31 energy. These values change depending. It can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 20, I believe. And then you just click. And it randomizes between that range. If you ever get perfect energy, it will stop. Just like that. You can no longer do it. It has perfect energy. The game is very kind to you to make sure that you don't re-roll over this. And you're done. So now these boots have perfect energy on them. So if I ever wanted to use these on whatever character I have, I can do that. Now that's done, we will talk about resonance and resonance usage. Now, before you do anything, check out this trader and just kind of look through these menus. A lot of them are relevant to you off rip, but the main two being the fuel shop and the beacon shop right here. This is your resonance. You will get this through the nether realm as you kill bosses and monsters. It's just something to add in quantity while also making your maps harder. However, for tiers 1 through 7, resonance is needed to keep and sustain your beacons. So as you progress through, you're going to need more and more resonance to get beacons to help progress your atlas. If you go over here, this is where the map system starts at. We can go back to time mark 1. And you can see you can only do Glacial Abyss to start with, but there are 5 different maps. But you need to go through and clear this map in its entirety to get the keys to fight the boss here. You need 2 star shards to do so, and then once you do, you kill him and then you can go next. But the resonance here, if I was to click on this, can be used to add on different affixes as you go up in the tiers. Do not, this is a good warning, do not use your resonance until you start getting to a comfortable position in tier 8. Before this, you need every bit of resonance that you can get to make sure that you can buy beacons to sustain and to keep leveling your character up and obtaining more and more gear. One of the issues I noticed that new players do is when they get to like time mark 7 and such like this, they'll go through and let's just say I click this one and they start adding on the fixes like this. Now you can add on this and you see the drop quantity here, but you're also making your map harder. And as a new player, you probably don't have the gear to deal with these kind of things, so you're hurting yourself. Not to mention, you're not going to sustain enough resonance to buy the beacons that you need, so you're kind of just hindering yourself. Make sure you do not click this button. You just open a portal, you go in there, and you just want to build up. Till you're good, comfy in T8, I wouldn't use it. And even then, when you do use it, I'll show you guys. This is something that all players do up until you're pretty much in deep space, which will be explained later. You're only putting in about 60% quantity. No more, no less. It's 3 base affixes that go into the map. And you can see here it says I'm using 7. I have a drop quantity of 60. Some decent mods that are, aren't too much of a bother for me or whatever at this point. But you're just going through, you're going to do the map and easy breezy cover girl. So that's what resonance is. Past that, you want to make sure that in your atlas, which I'm going to explain shortly, these nodes here are like your forever nodes. Up until you're making enough money to where you don't need these, you want to put points in other trees. Otherwise, you're just going through and keeping these on. Basically, all this is that when you kill monsters or bosses in the nether realm, you're getting a bunch of resonance back. This is how you sustain and even over sustain to make sure that this is never an issue for you. So now that we have that covered with resonance, we're going to talk about what the tree itself is and how it works. So in this game, just like other ARPGs, there are a lot of mechanics that you can do. As you progress through the different tiers, you're going to get these star points here, or star talents as they're called. A lot, as you can see through the different tiers. Bonus ones, these red ones come from killing the traveler in T7 and in T8. These are super big bonuses that come in here. And then the rest are unlocked through path of progression, which I'm missing 2 still. That's fine. But you can get all 92 points and pretty much make it so you have a full tree. There are a bunch of different mechanics in this game. Some of the base ones that start out are right here, these 4 and the compass one. And then these are all the lead mechanics listed here. Now, the thing with this game is most of these mechanics show up in your maps as you're starting out, and you'll see. You just kind of go around doing them and not really know what they are, but I'm going to tell you which each one is and kind of how they work, at least the ones I've done. First is here. If you're a legendary hunter, this is for you. So if you're just trying to find, specific legendaries and such like that, no one ever really takes this node unless you're doing like Dark Surge, which I'll explain. But this one is here. This is our base one. This is one that you pretty much will always look into and take, especially as a new player. It's just commodities. So basically, what these nodes are is your progression. So flame sand, embers, resonance, winding keys, which are used to change the talent points are here. There's a button right here actually for it. If you want to reset all or to auto click it, you can do that. And this is where the keys come into play. So if you're constantly changing up and trying to figure out what mechanics you like doing, this is a good node to take because you're always going to get some and you're going to get a lot of them. Star shards here, which is for boss killing. So if you just like killing the bosses over and over again, which are the plane watchers, you can take these talents and get a bunch of these boxes. I love boxes in this game. In all ARPGs, boxes are my best friend. I will probably always take this. Not necessary, but you open a box and a bunch of loot can pop out, or nothing can pop out. Either way, it's something. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get something really good. Energy cores, again, another beginner friendly one. If you need a lot of energy or you're having bad luck rolling energy, taking these will help sustain how much energy core you're getting to use. And then the rest of these are pretty much just for adding monsters and bosses to the map. And then your basic quant nodes, which is only 1% now. It used to be 2. But they're only 1% now, but it's still something. In this game, quantity is everything. So having a bunch of quantity is really, really, really good. And then lastly, we have our elixirs of oblivion, which are used to take away talent points. Remember, up to level 90, it's free. And then after that, you have to start using these, which you will get a lot of these just passively through the game. But if you ever need more, just because you're messing around with a build, that you've made yourself, or you want to try out something different, that's this right here. So this main star constellation is like your best friend. You will always refer back to this one for, the entirety of your playthrough. Next, we have beacons. Pretty much like it explains, the beacons are what we use and are called maps in this game. If you want to farm beacons and sustain them, this is the tree here to go through and do that with. Priceless gear. So priceless gear is like the highest level tier of gear that you can get in the game. If you want to be a priceless hunter, this tree is for you. However, this is kind of like a in-game thing. You will not start finding priceless gear until you are in tier 8 plus. So if it's not tier 8, this tree is irrelevant to you. I would not even look at this. And then you kind of go from there. Priceless gear, again, is some of the best gear you can get in the game. They come with their own set of affixes that you can get on them, and some of them are worth a lot of money. And then lastly, we have compasses, which compasses are, if you know what Path of Exile is, a scarab in that game is what a compass is in this game. You add a compass to the map that can either force on a lead mechanic or certain mobs, things of that sort. It does make the map harder depending on the tier of compass, and then you pretty much run it in. So these are the basic ones that we get. Remember these 5 here. And then now we have our lead mechanics, which a lot of these I have not done. So I can explain what they are, but until you try them yourself or you find another video on them, I'm just going to go over some of the basic ones that people may not know about and the ones that kind of help you make a little bit of extra money. First is Sandlord. This is like a resource hub system. Pretty much what you do is on the map, there is a little icon that you step on, and a bunch of monsters spawn out. They give you coins, and then you can either recruit some of these monsters depending, or you get resources for them to use in the Sandlord mechanic. In that mechanic, you're doing a bunch of research. It's where you use the blending tool for our belts, which lets you put on different mods that make you stronger or more tanky. And you can send out airships and things like that to raid other bases to get a bunch of materials that use for the belt. So it's a pretty fun one. If you like Settlers of Kalgor from Path of Exile, that's what this mechanic is. Just a simpler version now, and it can profit pretty well because everybody needs to blend their belts at some point. So you can look into that. Next, Black Sail, which is personally one of my favorites, also what I'm farming right now. You can see there are points into there, but the hero memory system, which I explained in a previous video, is what this benefits from. You can use this to farm better memories for yourself or to sell on trade. Everybody needs hero memories. It's super good early game. It's also a very, very, very simple farm. So if you like doing that, this is what you do. At the end of the map, an acorn will drop down. After interacting with the anchor, you're going to kill a bunch of mobs in a couple waves, or even sometimes you'll skip it, depending on if you take that talent here. And then you will get to select between 3 different options, depending on which one to farm. That could be the hero members themselves, the scraps to upgrade, or the threads to upgrade those hero memories. All dependent, and everybody needs them at any point in the game. So it's a really good farm, really easy, really fun. Like I said, this is probably my favorite mechanic in the game, and I'll probably keep doing this for a bit. Next, my second favorite is the cube talent one. This one is very rippy, but it's basically like pulling a lottery machine. So you're going to pretty much kill monsters. They will be tagged with a like red dot. You'll see it on your mini map. And after killing all the red monsters at the end of the map, killing the boss, a cube is going to pop out. Interacting with the cube lets you pretty much pull a slot machine. A bunch of different items you can get, mostly wedges and slates. But there are also like specific slates like these corners right here that are worth a lot of money depending on what mods they're rolling on, or some of these cores here which help you get other slates depending. And those slates, remember, are these here, which make your character stronger. So like a corner piece is a 3, like 2 across, 1 down in a sense, and it can have essentially a lot of these mods on it on just a small piece, which is why they cost so much. But you're pulling, and then again you're using wedges to either upgrade, change the talents, things of that nature, and that's what cube is. It is a very fun mechanic, but again, it can be very, very, very rippy. So make sure if you're doing this, you have a lot of damage to kill the monsters quick and not have to worry about the things that they can do to you. Again, this is like my second favorite mechanic in the game. I love the lottery machine pull of it. A lot of times it misses, but when it hits, it hits. Next, we have the war talent. So God of War essentially is just like a speed quantity boost. So if you get to a point in the game where you just want to clear maps super, super fast, and this mechanic is set up for that. Pretty much what you do at the start of the map, you're going to interact with it. And as you kill monsters, you get faster. Up to 10 tiers, you get a speed boost. I believe it's like 5% per. But you interact with it, you go through, you're killing monsters, you get to the end of the map, you're done, and then that's pretty much it. Sometimes you get loot, sometimes you don't, but really this is just used for making even the slowest character super fast. And you're just going through your map. So nothing complex with this one. It's pretty much just like a speed boost, and then that's that. Next, the hunting talent one. This is what we use for boss rushing. So pair it with the God of War mechanic that we just talked about. You can put this on, and when you go through, you get a choice of 3 different options per. One that benefits you, and then one that benefits the boss. So up to tiers of magic, which is blue, epic, which is purple, and then legendary, which is like an orange color. Those tiers affect you or the boss, depending. Can also spec into this to where you don't get to pick, and it will randomly pick things for you. It may even pick all of them. And then you just fight the boss. And if you kill it fast enough, it doesn't matter. If it takes you a bit, this one may not be for you, but it does allow you to get bonus loot from it. Boss rushing uses this a lot and makes things super fun. You can put a bunch of bosses on the map. Sometimes it's just one boss, but it's super strong, or it multiplies and you're just killing it. So that is the goddess of hunting in this game. Again, down the line, I would make videos that like showing off what all these mechanics are, just so you have an idea. But you also will see these in the map as you progress and just kind of go through it. This is Misfill. I have not interacted with this mechanic much. Um, it's like a creepy, eerie kind of place or anything, something like that. But yeah, I don't know too much about this one, but this is what the tree looks like, and we may mess with this just to get an idea with it ourselves and what we need to do with it. Dark Surge. So Dark Surge is one of those mechanics that you will see, I believe, in like one of your very first maps. They kind of showed us off a lot. But basically, you are killing monsters, and they are tagged with a purple icon. And the more you kill, the more pulls you get. I believe people use this one to farm a lot of the special legendaries that you get both in early game and late game. Um, so look into videos like this, but as you kill them, an icon is going to pop up on the right side, and it's like a rhombus, and it fills up with purple energy. And then clicking that, you spawn monsters. Killing those monsters gives you loot. It can spawn a boss, or it can spawn a bunch of currency, and you just need to kill them, and then things will pop out. And that's pretty much it. So it's kind of like what Cube is, except there's no lottery pool. You're killing monsters instead. So pretty easy, very simple one to get into. I haven't done this tree myself personally, but when it pops up in a map, I will typically kill, as many purple monsters as I can, get to the boss, and then just spawn the bobs on the boss and kill them all together. Next, Clockwork. So I haven't gone in and done this one, but I have done the mechanic itself. I rather enjoy it. I've just never gone in depth with it. I believe people use this to farm like a bunch of embers and things like that. But essentially, it works in the sense that you talk to the Clockwork boss at the start, and you have one or three options. You're gonna pick one of the options, and then you kind of go through the map. And at certain points, there are dial clockwork icons, kind of like this there, that once you touch them, monsters will pop out. Kill all the monsters, the thing explodes, it gives you the gear, and you're speeding through. I believe you can have anywhere from like 3 to like 6 different ones. And then once you do it, depending on the rank and how fast you have gone through, you interact with the boss's like head icon. And then all of these cogwheels pop out and give you a bunch of loot. So big loot explosions from it. Uh, Pretty easy, but it can also be really rippy too, because at a certain point, a mini boss will pop out that just chases you around. You cannot kill it or anything like that off rip. It does take a bit to get her barrier down, and then once it does, I think you can kill it. Again, I haven't done it to see that. I pretty much go through, kill everything, touch the icon, the loot pops out, and then I'm going to the next map. But it is a fun mechanic that you can do. I believe this used to be people's favorite back in the day, but I don't see much of it now. Next, the Might talent constellation. So I don't too much like this one personally, but this is one of the mechanics where when you interact with it, a giant circle will pop up, which is like your ring out kind of thing. So while you're in it, you're killing monsters in waves as much as you can. But also, you have a bunch of fire that spawns underneath you. So you want to be as tanky as possible to sustain and be within that fire, and also keep killing monsters as much as possible. That's pretty much how the mechanic works. And then once you're done, the guy will like judge you, and then like loot will pop out. So I believe if you want to look at it in the sense of like ultimatum and path of exile, it's kind of like that, except you're not interacting in waves and picking like what you get. You're just kind of existing and just killing things. So that's the Might one. I haven't done this too much, but it has popped up in the map, and I've done it. And I just like, all right, well, I don't want to do this more. I like speed. Um, the machine talent. Okay, so I've done this one a few times. Pretty much what it is like a defense system. So you're gonna interact with this, and then in waves of 3, monsters are gonna pop out. Sometimes bosses even. Your thing is to protect this core and kill all the monsters. It's that simple. They do get super hard at some points and very, very, very tanky, so you need a lot of damage for this. but it's that simple. And then at the end of it, the machine that you were defending will explode and then gives you loot too. Pretty straightforward mechanic. Uh, this is being reworked, so I won't go into this one. They actually reworked this season. So I haven't done it, but at this point now, you're just using this mechanic here, Eternia, to farm embers. So I won't go too much into that because I have not done it myself personally, but it is a thing. Next, probably my third mechanic that I love. You see, I'm doing it right now. Actually, this is your dream and nightmare mechanic. So essentially, what this is, you interact with a flower, and this is your dream state. As you pick certain dreams, you also get certain nightmares. Those nightmares can be any sort of things that can hinder your player, or it can give drop quantity depending in the nightmare version. Every time you interact with the flower, it becomes more and more deadly in a sense, up to essentially 100% chance to get into the nightmare realm. And then in the nightmare realm, you're going to go down and fight the nightmare bosses and try to kill their roots. And once you kill their roots, and in the nightmare, the dream comes back and you get loot from it. There is a mechanic that is needed. You use tokens in this to make your character stronger. A lot of people will always run this because it's not a very hard talent to do, and you make a lot of money off of this mechanic alone. It's super fun. There's also a buff you can get in here. I call them my zappy pops, but a blue lightning ball will pop out that you can gather. And essentially, this is like a one shot to like monsters in chains. So if you're speeding through this and you get that, you're pretty much just like clearing the map super fast as long as you don't die. If you die, it goes away. But when you get them, it's super fun. This is a very fun mechanic. It doesn't take many points to get into. I do recommend this one for people, especially new players, just to go through and like make your maps a little bit easier, or to make a little bit of money off of it. But make sure that when you do this mechanic, you pay attention to your risk reward system in it. Next, we have the frozen canvas. This I believe this is the season I actually started, which is on Constellation now. But essentially, what you do is there is snow paper fragments that pop up from monsters that you kill. You have to use about 100 fragments to make a page. Then once you make that page, you go through and you do the canvas. The way the canvas works in the system for it, I'll have to explain in a separate video, but it is a bit weird. But if done right, you can profit pretty well off of this. A lot of people will just sit and buy paper and just do this mechanic nonstop. So I will make a separate video for this one just to explain and show like what it looks like. Because it is a little bit complex one, but once you get used to it, it's very fun. Next, we have the Arcana. This was a couple seasons ago. It has its own constellation now, but this is a super fun one. If you like gambling with cards, this is kind of for you. Essentially, there are cards that pop up on the map. Each card can come with a different pool. There are certain ones that I do not care for, but they're part of it. And then there are ones that are super easy. But essentially, once you get a sack of 30, you get to go to the fate realm, essentially. And a giant woman's gonna pop up, no spoilers, but she's gonna pop up and she's gonna have boxes for you. And in those boxes is loot, but also you have to kill the monsters guarding the loot. And they come in different phases and waves. The same ones that you see when you start the card are the ones that are also inside that realm as well. This is really fun. I will make a separate video for this one too, just to show off uh, what she is and what this mechanic is. I love it. This is also how you get your kismets and micro fates and medium fates that also buff your characters. Kismets are super rare, but they are super powerful and change your character in many ways, both from just automating or just from giving you a super big power boost. So this will always be a mechanic that people farm, and it becomes very, very, very expensive, but it is really fun. So I do recommend this one later down the line. Your character is like super strong. You're doing EA to profound. This is a good mechanic to get into. This was last season. This is the outlaw talent. As you can see, you need a lot of points for this, but this is like the moneymaker right now. It's basically like doing heist. So, carjack bus will be on the map. You interact with it, and waves of monsters come out. You want to kill things as much as possible, and then after killing them, you're either going to get loot or you're going to cry because it's pretty much like that. But in doing so, you're building up a crime rate. Once your crime rate is high enough, you can then go and rob essentially what is a bank, performing a heist. And inside of there is where all your money is. You can rob a bunch of different rooms. And then once you rob all of them, the security boss will pop out. And then once that boss pops out, you go into the vault that has everything that he was guarding. And then that's your big loot explosion. A bunch of money comes out, armor, weapons, things of that sort. And that's pretty much it. This mechanic alone right now during this season is making a lot of money for people. So if you want to see big loot explosions, I recommend getting the pet for this and doing this mechanic itself, and you will not be disappointed. Really fun. And lastly, I have not done this mechanic. This is very, very new to this league right now. But essentially a giant scarab thing is like a boss, and you're killing it little by little, and that each time it goes immune, it's either going to spawn a boss, it's going to spawn monsters and things like that, I believe. And then once it's fully dead, you get a bunch of loot from it. This is something I see people doing in like profound and deep space. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but again, it's a new system, so I think people are still messing with it. It's only been a couple weeks now, so look out for more information on this. Now, lastly, like I said, when you kill the plane watchers in T7 and T8, you get 2 points each up to this. All the nodes for quant are here. They're 2% and take 1 point. And then each one of these is its own specific thing. You have rare confusion cards, which again, confusion cards are used in the map system to pick and choose what you're trying to farm. Like I said, the rare cards are the ones that like you run 1 or 2 maps, but it gives you a super big amount of loot or specific legendaries that you can try to drop, things like that. And then that's just an example of that one. There's a bunch of them, so make sure you take a look at which one you may like and make sure you're reading them, because again, some of them can be pretty bad. Like you get more quantity here, but you have -4 attempts, which means that you only have 2 tries to complete the map. Just for example of this one. So this is one of those ones where it's like, you know, you're not going to die and you can kill the map. You get 30% more loot, which is super big because quantity is everything in this game. So that's this major one. Again, you only get 4 of these, and this doesn't affect you in any sense until you kill the travelers in T7 and T8. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. But that is what our constellation or mapping system looks like in this game. Very different from Path of Exile and like Diablo and things like that that may have these mechanics. So make sure you're really looking into this. That is it for this video. I will do a quick map real quick just to demonstrate and show you guys what I'm farming right now and give you a little taste of what mapping looks like. All right. And that's my map. So what you just saw was me doing the dream mechanic and the black sail mechanic. The dream, I pop the flower, everything turns blue, kill things, get loot. That mechanic's done, and I go to the end of the map, kill the boss, and then the black sail anchor pops out, which I have a compass in that lets me do it twice. And then once I do it twice, that's it. Up to 6, and then a boss will spawn that you get to fight. So that's it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concern, let me know. I will be making more videos and such like that, so that way you guys can stay up to date with what you need to do progressing through Torchlight Infinite. Make sure to catch me on Twitch, and feel free to ask any questions. Till next time.